OCO, my people, what it do, what it be, how you do? International Glass, man, Real Spirits TV, Real Spirits Radio, realspirits.com. You already know what it is. Holla at your boy. Top of the morning to my people. Good morning, OCO, my people. You already know. Like and subscribe. Big up. Get your boy up, talk to me, right? This is what we do. In the last few days, I've been checking out a lot of different things, and one thing I want to say for sure, too, for certain, is a lot of truths are coming out. A lot of things that we wondered about in our time here on this rock, growing, learning, educating ourselves on different things. We've come to understand that, and a lot of the things that we've learned is false. They are false. We were told these fictitious stories for the colonizers to be able to gain a foothold in our lands because they stole our lands. This is the problem we have with what they say about reparations, because the one thing you don't know is when they got here, most of everything that's here was already here. We had already built it. Reparations is for the means of the land they stole. Pay us for it. We were never justly, rightly due the compensation. They never paid us for the land they stole. That's our payment. We had already built it. It was already here. Mexico City was already built. A lot of things you see here, as far as them old stone buildings, brick buildings and things like that, of that nature, the mortar buildings and stuff like that, built like castles, cathedrals and stuff like that. That stuff was already here when they got here. So when we start talking reparations, we have to be very careful of what we're talking about. And that was the reason why our Johnny Cochran is no longer here, because he knew exactly what it was he was bringing to the courts about reparations. He knew, because he knew who he was. He knew he was an Aboriginal. There is no such thing as an African American. We are the Aboriginal Americans. We are the original Indians they came across when they got here. We are those Navajos, those Apaches, those Mohawks, those Cayuga, Iroquois, Arawak, Apache, Algonquin, Yamasee, Cherokee, Choctaw. We are those nations. We are those nations. Those Siberians you see, those Serbians, those Scandinavians, those Caucasoids you see are not us. They have been lying since the 1600s. Because when they first got here, we was running them back out of here. 1400s, 13, we was getting them out. They was not able to establish anything here. It wasn't until the 1600s that they was able to establish anything here. And that was under false pretense because they lied to others of our nations who went into a pact with them. They lodged them. They brought over melanated Europeans, the aristocrats, the McPhersons, the McDougalls, the McDowells, the McDonalds. Those are the aristocrats. Those are the melanated Europeans that came over with those Caucasians. The Sephardic Jews that came over from Spain, Christopher Columbus, Sephardic Jew, melanated people. See, the one thing you have yet to realize and take notice to, my people, is that if you notice every statue across the globe bears a striking resemblance to melanated people. Why is that? Because the globe was melanated. All melanated people, everything on the globe has melatonin in it, except for one thing, Caucasians, because they were created by our scientists. They know that. Most of us know that. If you take and you shaved a monkey completely hairless, he would be just as pale as those Caucasoids you see. What you have to understand is they have been writing themselves into our history since the 8th century. They started coming out of the Caucasus Mountains in the 3rd century. That's where you see the proverbial story of the quote unquote Christ. See, what you don't understand about that Bible is they changed the names of our people to bamboozle us into thinking the history is something else, but we know the truth. It's a melanated history. Them doctored names, Ashkenazis and all that, that's fictitious. It does not exist. They wrote themselves into our history for a reason. They have no history. And until you fully understand that, you're going to be lost because they're going to keep giving you misinformation to go by. Whereas you now have to go back and study the true history because they've been documenting the history all those years. The book of Josephus tells a lot. When you read the book of Josephus, it tells a lot because that historian, what he did was documented those wars and let you know who those people were taking those original Hebrews to war in order to steal the history. Those Caucasian Jews you see are Jews by faith. It's not a birthright. How could it be a birthright when you were created by our scientists? Although that we did use our people from a starting point, the albino, the original leper of the book, because it tells you they were pale people. Oh, but they changed that. They rewrote that. So yeah. But you got to see in Moses when he stuck his hand in the cloak, it came out white as snow. When he stuck it back, it came back whole, whole brown, melanated, came back whole. Read the book for yourself. See, because if you keep letting them interpret the book for you, they're going to interpret it in a way that makes them look like they're somebody they're not. You have to read and understand those books for yourself if you're going to get the proper message. In that, you're going to have to really take notice and learn a lot of things about who you are, what you are, to get where you need to get next. And the one thing you have to do is stop buying into their false nation, false doctrines, their false nation. Don't buy into it because we have nothing to do with America. as it is so called. We have nothing to do with that. We must establish ourselves and our own in order to stand tall and grow. They're not going to let us in. The ones that are in are not with us. They have never been with us because they are not us. All melanated people are of a people, but we're different. And because of that difference is where they sell us out by working with others that are not like-minded with us. Skinfolk ain't always kinfolk. Just because you look like me don't mean you are a part of me. Because there was a lot that looked like us that sold us out. Always remember that. So the thing now is to get back who you are. And the majority of us melanated people here in America are not African. We were always here. As I've said, we are those nations, the confederated nations of our Confederate flag, which they changed the color to and gave a new meaning of. That is our flag of our confederation, our federation. The five nations that control these lands, the original five nations that control these lands. We had a pact. They went into an agreement with us to where they never even formally signed on to the agreement. We were the only ones to sign on to these agreements, which voids them out. We are not a part of quote so-called America. We have to establish our own Confederate nations once again. That was the reason for the split from the South from the North, because Virginia was the whole Eastern Seaboard. That's why you have a Virginia Company of London. Get it? So when you go back and you hear them talk about the city of Memphis, first largest city in the world, it was always here. Memphis was always here. This is the root of civilization, people. God's people has always been here. Hello. Wake up, y'all. That's the true secret of the Masons. We don't know who we are. That is the true secret of the Masons, people. We have to get this knowledge back. Why you think they prevented our ancestors from reading? So they can doctor the information and have us to where they have us now. Confused and lost. But I'm not confused or lost. I know exactly who I am. My grandmother's made sure that's fact. My grandmother's a Cherokee Indian. Me and my sister have been on Ancestry and pulled up all the information. We know who we are. It's up to you to find out who you are. And it's up to all of us to find out who we are and regain our proper status because we are the true number one representatives of this land. We are first class citizens to this land. We are first and last of this land. Those people who came over, those Europeans who's trying to say you were not here. You were nowhere but in the Caucasus Mountains. You have no claim to nothing on this globe. Nothing. The worst thing our people did was taught them the use of gunpowder. That's the worst thing. But see, those are the people, as I tell you, that was dissatisfied with the people who were in control. And what they did was they created this nation of savages to create havoc amongst the righteous across the globe. And what one of our brothers did, as you can see in quote unquote our today's Bible, was try to re-civilize the uncivilized. Let us make man in our image righteous. There's many ways you could look at that. But I give you the opportunity to read it and you judge for yourself what you see. Why do people? Peace. Like and subscribe. Always know. Peace to my people. Real Spitters Radio, Real Spitters TV, realspitters.com. One last thing I'd like to say. Peace to my brother. You know what I'm talking about. Drip and Fly on, the kid creator. Check him out. Drip and Fly on attire, shoes. King Creator. Look him up online. Peace, people.